Hey there, welcome back to another vlog. This time I'm going to be showing a few things that I picked up recently, some DVDs and Blu-rays, and also giving you an update on what's coming next on the channel, what's coming up. And yeah, so it's one of those, just the typical sort of stuff that you see in a vlog from me. Before I get to the DVDs and Blu-rays, I just want to let you know why there's been such a long delay, why I haven't been posting a lot of stuff. Well, I've just been kind of taking it easy while my foot was, my toe was healing, because there was I had surgery done on it. Part of the nail was removed to hopefully end the ingrown toenail issues permanently. And I was taking antibiotics, and they would tend to just take a lot out of me, make me really dehydrated and tired. And then they started to affect my face. Like if it looks like I'm a little red in the face, and I know I explained this already in the last video I posted, but for those of you who didn't check that video out, here's a refresher. I'm red in the face because I had an allergic reaction to the antibiotics I was taking. I stopped taking them, but there's still some residual damage to my face that my body's taken a while to deal with. So I've started to moisturize it with some moisturizing cream, and that's helped a lot, but it's still not really 100% there yet. So it's one of those things where I was just self-conscious, and I didn't really want to appear on camera because the rash just kept getting worse. And the last time I was on camera, it wasn't that bad, but it looked like I had a really awful sunburn, you know, with the flaky skin and everything. So I know it might not have been that much of a distraction to some of my subscribers, and I know some of the videos I'll be posting probably won't get that many views to begin with, but it was a distraction to me. So that's why I haven't really posted any new videos for a while, for a bit. I'm glad most of you enjoyed the most recent rant I did on physical media. I really loved the comment section there. There was a lot of very respectful discourse for the most part. There were a couple people who were being dumb that I basically booted off the platform for being dumb. But other than that, everyone was respectful and shared some really nice insights. So, while I'm on the topic of my channel, I'll just give you a heads up on what's coming next. I got a very special, exclusive interview with two editors for Cinefx magazine, Jody Duncan and Joe Fordham, and that is going to be coming out pretty soon. It's going to be a part of Celluloid Nation, so it's going to be an exclusive Celluloid Nation broadcast podcast that I will be posting on this channel fairly soon. I'm looking to probably post it either tomorrow or the next day. I did record a podcast with Matt, regular Celluloid Nation, that will be posted afterwards. I split it into two parts. First part, we're talking about some trailers, and then we're talking about a few other things. I go on a long rant about the Disney-Fox merger. And the second part is about Victor Miller and the whole thing going on with the Friday the 13th game. We also talk about a certain company, and we give a word of warning to our listeners about it. And then we talk about some upcoming releases on DVD and Blu-ray. Now, when I post those, it's going to be even more behind because of this exclusive. But I wanted to get the exclusive out as soon as possible. Didn't want to wait on that. So if you are at all interested in behind the scenes stuff, or if you are a fan of Cinefx magazine, definitely stay tuned and listen to that. I also have a bunch of videos planned. I'm going to do a new series a couple new series of videos. I've mentioned the filmographies before. That's still going to happen down the road. I'm going to do one on Peter Weller, where I go through the filmography of a certain actor and give my thoughts on their films. Short but sweet thoughts. And another series I'm going to start up. Before that, though, and the reason why I'm starting it up sooner is because if I don't record this video soon, I'm going to forget about these movies because they're really that forgettable. I'm going to start up a series called The Watch List, where I'm going to be posting shorter, to the point, just anecdotes and little reviews of films that I didn't really feel there was enough meat on the bone for a full-length video. And the first episode will be called Comedy Calamity, and it will be about 4 different comedies that I saw fairly recently: Father Figures, Life of the Party, Blockers, and Tag. So, yeah, I didn't really feel that any of those films were worth a full-length review, so I will review all 4 of them in condensed form in an episode of The Watch List. And that will not just include movies. Like that, I might even give my short thoughts on some TV shows I've been watching recently or watched in the past, and so on and so forth. Just kind of give you all a heads up on what I'm watching, kind of thing. I know some people have asked me about that, like, what's on your watch list, you know? So I thought, well, why not make a video series that's just basically what's on my watch list? So, and speaking of that, what's going to be on my watch list for the rest of the month is requests, as well as a few other things, like a few other newer films that I decided to go see in the theater. I feel bad because I was going to do the request month, and then I only did a few titles, and then just things got out of hand, and I just wasn't really able to get to it. But I'm definitely going to get to it now. Like I want to try to get as far down this list as possible by the end of this month. And it's a really long list. But in between, there'll be stuff like Celluloid Nation and the filmographies and the collections. I'm going to do another edition of the collections on my Fangoria magazine collection. I'm going to also do one on my Goosebumps book collection. It's not as extensive as other Goosebumps fans are, but it's pretty decent. I got a good amount of the box sets that were released back in the day that I got from my cousin, and so I'm looking forward to dusting those off, literally, and showing them on camera, because I really did grow up with Goosebumps. I grew up with that, with those books, and with the show. So one of these days I'd like to talk about the show sometime as well. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, folks. I'm never going to run out of things to talk about on this channel. So, in terms of reviews, what I have coming up next is reviews of Baby, Secret of a Lost Legend, Backdraft, but actually I'm going to do those a little bit later, because I'm going to post a rant of Escape Plan 2 Hades. That's going to be the next review that's going to be posted fairly soon. I saw it long before it came out on home video, and I was just waiting to post the rant until it officially came out. And yeah, that's going to be a pretty big rant, because that movie is a giant piece of shit. That film is awful. I would have to say Escape Plan 2 Hades is the worst film I've seen this year, easily. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to post a review of Sicario, Day of Soldado. I saw that. I loved it. I thought it was a great film. I even liked it more than the first. And I wanted to do a review of that sooner so I could come up to bat for the film, because the film's getting railed on by a lot of critics for reasons that I think are bullshit. I really do. I think they're just bullshit reasons. And I wanted to just vent a little bit and also give my thoughts on the film. After that, I will do post reviews of Baby and Backdraft, and then I'll get into a little animation stuff. A good friend of mine, Jonathan Lindsay, who sent me a bunch of stuff. His birthday was last month, and he wanted me to review some anime. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reviewing Battle Angel, the OVA, which was on the request list, and then after that, I'm going to be posting reviews of some films that Jonathan wanted me to check out. Golgo 13, The Professional, Porco Rosso, and Grave of the Fireflies. And then after that, I'm not done with animation, because I'm going to be posting reviews of the Incredibles films, because I saw Incredibles 2 in theater recently. I saw a movie in theater. I saw Incredibles 2 in the theater recently, and I did have fun with it. And I wanted to definitely share my thoughts on that, as well as the first one. I thought might as well do that, because the first film is on the request list, so that way I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So after that, just more request stuff from the list. If I ever get around to seeing stuff like Hereditary or Ant-Man and the Wasp or Mission Possible. I actually would like to review the Mission Possible films before the new one comes out, so if I have some time then I will do that. But yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan going forward. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming at you. I have a lot of stuff on my plate and a lot of stuff that I haven't recorded stuff for yet. Plus the podcast. So definitely stay tuned for all of that wonderful, hopefully entertaining content. Now we get to the part of the video that a lot of people are more interested in. Just showing you what I got. So these are from a collection of different sort of stuff I got from Facebook groups and in the wild at thrift stores and a few other places. So without further ado, let's get started. So buybacks, of course, is having these crazy buy three get one deal, buy three get one free deals, and it applies to their bargain racks. So I've been getting a lot of stuff at bargain prices, and so this is just a bunch of bargain titles. Normally I wouldn't pay that much for some of these titles, but for like $1 and then you get one free basically if you buy three. It's one of those things where it's affordable and you add films to your collection, and yeah, so there are films that I would have never really bought for full price that I got in this particular deal. So first one I got here is called It's a Disaster. This is a black comedy about the end of the world. I've heard about it. It's got a lot of good reviews, but I've never seen it. So and this particular one, it's been this particular DVD had been on the shelves at buybacks for months, if not years, and finally they put it on the bargain rack because nobody was paying full price for it. So that's a good thing for me. A film called Hollywood North, which is about the making of a movie, and I like that kind of stuff, and it looks like it might be kind of fun. Interesting cast. You got Jennifer Tilly, Matthew Modine, Alan Bates. So that's Hollywood North. The Jimmy Show. Never heard of this. It's got a solid cast. You got Frank Whaley, Carla Gugino, and Ethan Hawke. I mainly got it because I'm a big fan of Frank Whaley. I think he's a very underrated actor. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in Swimming with Sharks. And he really didn't have that much of a career. Like, he had bit roles and some considerable roles in some big movies, but he's an actor that's really fallen by the wayside, and a lot of people don't really talk about him, and he's honestly been forgotten about. And I really don't think that's fair, because he's a very talented actor who deserves a lot more recognition. So I got it for Frank Whaley, for the Frank Whaley collection. Framed, which is a Jeff Goldblum film. I'm a fan of Jeff Goldblum. I saw the trailer. Looked like it might be kind of fun. You also have an early performance by, I'm trying to remember his name, Kevin O'Connor, who you might recognize from The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser and Deep Rising. And this is about a forgery artist, played by Jeff Goldblum, who falls in love with this woman, Kristen Scott Thomas, and then there's these shenanigans that ensue, and he's tasked by her to create a forgery so they can make off with a valuable painting and so on and so forth. So it's probably not that much. It's directed by Dean Parasot, who would go on to direct Galaxy Quest, which is a pretty cool bit of trivia there. I also got this double feature of Scooby-Doo Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo and Alien Invaders. These are films I remember watching when I was a kid on VHS. I actually had the Alien Invaders still on VHS and wanted to upgrade it to a DVD. But mainly I got this for Zombie Island because I really like Zombie Island. I think Zombie Island, I can't even say it I really like it, but I can't say it for some reason. I really like Zombie Island. I think it's a really solid film and easily my favorite Scooby-Doo film that I've seen. Then I got this double feature There's this dollar a sticker still on here because this case is busted and these stickers are a pain in the ass to get off anyway. And with a busted case, it's going to be even harder to get off. I thought the Pelican Brief was going to be on one disc, and it is, but it's one of those where it's double-sided, so part of the film's on one side and the other part is on the other. So it's a mini Laserdisc. If it was a Laserdisc, I'm not going to complain because it's a Laserdisc. But it's a fucking DVD, so Warner Brothers, Paramount and Warner Brothers, they were cheap fuckers and just put the oldest copy of Pelican Brief that they had in this set. But the Rainmaker is a dual layer disc, so I don't understand why they did that. So, and I had no idea the Pelican Brief was that long. I mean, the Pelican Brief, another title I can't say for some reason. That one is 141 minutes, so it's really long. But it was $1 for 2 movies, so thought why not. Urban Cowboy, because I've heard a lot about this. It's got Scott Glenn, John Travolta, Deborah Winger. It directed by James Bridges. It was a film that briefly resurrected Travolta's career in 1980. And I'm not a super big fan of country music or country stuff, but I like John Travolta, and I've heard it's one of his better films, so I thought why not pick it up. What's interesting about this DVD is that there's no trailer. And I noticed that Paramount did that a lot, where they'd have some random stuff, like there's some outtakes and rehearsal footage, but there's no theatrical trailer, and that's just kind of weird to me. I don't get it, especially for a film that was that well known. I also got Renaissance Paris 2054. I really like films with this kind of style, this animation style, rotoscoping. Never heard of this one. It's also got Daniel Craig before he was James Bond in the current James Bond films. So yeah, I'm really interested in this one, and this looks really interesting. So yeah, pick that up. Harpoon Whale Watching Massacre. This one has a bit roll by Gunnar Hansen. The trailer wasn't that bad. It looked like it might be decent. But I don't know. Trailers can be misleading, and I'll see for myself sometime whether or not this is any good. I just like the concept of a bunch of people being stranded on a whaling boat and having to deal with some crazies on it, and they're in the middle of the sea and have to find a way to survive. I like that concept. Got a sci-fi film called Listening, which sounds interesting. It's got some pretty scary concepts going on about it, about mind control and stuff like that. Speaking of mind control, got another mind control movie called The Hypnotist. It's a Japanese film, and it's from Toho, and it's about like there's this killer who's hypnotizing people and causing them to die in very gory ways. So yeah, I thought I'd pick that up. The Wild Bunch 2-disc special edition. I've been wanting to get this for a long time, so this is one of my favorite pickups from buybacks that day. This has got a considerable amount of features, and the best thing about this is the best version of the film you can get on DVD, because the first release has that awful non-anamorphic widescreen, and it looks like shit. So here you have the new digital transfer, and it looks good, at least as good as an older film like this will look up converted from a DVD. So yeah, and it was like $1, and it's got like loads of features on it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm looking forward to checking that out sometime. Another Western, this time Hard Bounty. It sounds like a porno, and it isn't, though. It is not a porno. It's got Matt McCoy and Kelly LeBrock, and yes, Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science fame and a Western. I got it because I know it's not on streaming or anything, and I had it on VHS, and I had no idea it was on DVD. These two titles I got off of eBay for a good price. These have been on my wish list on Amazon for years. Devlin with Brian Brown, and Defenseless with Barbara Hershey and Sam Shepard. This says it's digitally mastered. That's a lie. This looks like shit. It really does look bad on my TV. This does not hold up to upconverting that well. There are some Platinum releases that look okay. This isn't one of them. This looks just marginally better than the VHS, but I'm still glad to have it for the collection. And the VHS that I have is one of those cheap Avid releases, so this is still better than that, but only by a little bit, so that's disappointing. You would think for a film like this with a cast like this and a director, this is directed by Martin Campbell, who would go on to direct movies like Mask of Zorro and Casino Royale. You would think that this would have a better release, but it doesn't for some reason. It just has a Platinum release. This is an ideal candidate for a Kino Lorber Blu-ray. I really hope they put this out sometime in widescreen and much better picture quality, because I remember watching this a while back in VHS and I did like it, and I thought that both actors did a good job. Barbara Hershey, Sam Shepard. So yeah, it's one of those films that I mean, there's not a lot of defenders of Defenseless. And Devlin, I had some fun with as well with Brian Brown. I like Brian Brown. I've liked him ever since I saw him in FX. And then these DVDs are titles that I got from, well, some of them, yeah, a few of these I got from buybacks again, but this one I got from a thrift store. I could not believe it when I got it. It was like $2. It's $2, Fantasia and Fantasia 2000. I love Fantasia. It's one of my favorite Disney films. I grew up watching that film. It was my first exposure to classical music. It's a film that I really, really do adore, and I've always wanted to get on DVD. And this is a remaster version. I checked it out. It looks great on my TV, and it's one of the best transfers I've seen personally of the film, and it's the best I've ever seen it, because I'm used to watching on VHS. Like, I'm used to watching a VHS quality. So it was I'm looking forward to revisiting Fantasia as well as checking out the sequel. I've actually never seen Fantasia 2000. So this is really cool to get both films for, you know, a couple bucks, especially when most places they really overprice their Disney DVDs, their used Disney DVDs. And they didn't do that there, and I was really surprised by that. Got a classic sci-fi film, When Worlds Collide. Got One Man's Hero with Tom Berenger. I got an SNL Best of, the Best of Dana Carvey. Big fan of Dana Carvey. I have his stand-up special, Squatting Monkeys Tell No Lies. I'd love to get the Dana Carvey show sometime, because I actually do like the Dana Carvey show. It's got some skits in there that don't quite work, but it really did start to really get hilarious and just absolutely laugh out loud funny as it went on. And there's just so many talented, great writers. And there's a really great documentary about the making of the Dana Carvey show called Too Funny to Fail, which I highly recommend if you haven't checked it out already. So, the Best of Dana Carvey. Halloween Town High. I know it's a Disney film. I like Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. I have those on DVD, so I thought, why not get the third one for the collection? And it was essentially free, so I thought, why not? So that's the DVDs, well, the standalone DVDs that I got. The rest of the DVDs I got are box sets, and I'll save those for last. I'll show a few Blu-rays I got. I got these from buybacks. They're like a couple bucks each. The Mummy, big fan of this one. I already reviewed it. I wanted to upgrade it on Blu-ray, so upgrade it to Blu-ray, not on Blu-ray. I upgrade it to Blu-ray because I only had the DVD. And then The Mummy Returns. And these are all the deluxe editions, so they all have the same features as the DVDs that I have, and with better picture quality and sound. And to be honest, they also had Tomb of the Dragon Emperor there, but I was like, I don't really care. I'm fine with just having The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, because these are the only Mummy films I like. Then I got the I've just been talking a lot today, so I guess my mouth is running out of steam. because I did a podcast today. I interviewed the Cinefex editors and so on and so forth. So forgive me if I'm sounding like Porky Pig over here. These I got from a Facebook group. The guy was selling them, and it was like $12 or something. Actually, I think it was like it was 16, and it was a great deal because it's all for Jurassic Park films in separate Blu-rays. I had the trilogy, the Ultimate Trilogy box set, but to be honest, I prefer having standalone releases. So when and if I ever decide to do another video on these films, I can show Jurassic Park when I'm talking about Jurassic Park, or I can show The Lost World when I'm talking about The Lost World, or I can show Jurassic Park 3 when I want to talk about Jurassic Park 3. And I also like the way they look on the shelf better. And I got them from this seller, and it was a great deal, cheaper than I could have gotten them separately anywhere else. So really glad to get these. They have the same features as the Ultimate Trilogy, and if I were to rank these right now, the first one is the best. The third one to me is the second best. I know, shocker. I like this film. I think it's incredibly underrated. I do not get why this gets so much shit. Yeah, there's that raptor dream sequence. Yeah, there's that one scene where the T-Rex gets eaten by the new dinosaur. It's one of those where I'm like, okay, so it's fast-paced. It's got a ton of impressive practical dinosaur effects. You have Sam Neill's back. There are some annoying stuff with some of the characters, but it doesn't completely bring the film down. It's got some good action in it. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is so bad. Joe Johnston's direction is great as well. I think it's a much better film than The Lost World. The Lost World is overlong. It's got some good things about it, but it's overlong. It's quite boring. One of the first shots is Jeff Goldblum just yawning, there's some cool moments to it. I mean, the ending, the climax, and the T-Rex breaks out and rampages through the city. But I just felt personally that Jurassic Park 3 was more satisfying. That's just me personally. I know I seem to be alone on that, and I would say The Lost World is after that, and then Jurassic World. I only have it because I don't have the movie and for the collection, and it was a part of the lot. So, and it might be fun to just watch the features at least. But yeah, Jurassic World would be my least favorite right now. I have not seen Fallen Kingdom. I might see it sometime. I don't know. If that does happen, then a review will just all of a sudden appear on my channel. So yeah, that's the Jurassic Park films on Blu-ray. And then this is another Facebook group deal. This is a steal. $12 shipped for both of these. The X-Files, the complete season 1. I wanted to get this set because I'm okay with my DVD set that you can see right there. Right there, that one right there is the X-Files set. I love the look of it. It's really cool. It looks great on a shelf. It's a very unique set, and it's one that I really do feel was worth all the money I paid for it. But it does have some drawbacks. For one, season 1, the transfers are shit. They are absolutely terrible. They look horrible. They look bad. They don't hold up well. They look like crap on my computer. They look like crap on my TV. They're not good transfers. But seasons 2 through I believe 9, all those seasons are fine. They look great. They look fine upconverted. I don't really have an issue with them. Season 1, though, I did have an issue. Now, I wouldn't mind upgrading, getting the seasons on Blu-ray someday down the road. But for right now, I'm fine with season 1 because I just didn't want to. If I was going to revisit the series, if I was going to actually watch the series, because I haven't seen the entire series, if I was going to watch the entire series and review the series someday, which I do want to do, I want to watch it in the best quality possible, and this is the best quality possible for season 1. And I know, yeah, best quality possible doesn't necessarily apply to seasons 2 through 9. But the thing is, with those seasons, I wanted to watch them on my DVD anyway because, and I would have preferred to have watched them on DVD as well for season 1, and I still might. I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things where it depends. Because those are essentially the closest you're going to get to the original broadcast episodes, because the Blu-rays changed some things around. They changed the title screens, they cut some stuff out, and they redo some effects, so it's not really the same as the broadcast episodes. They cut some stuff off the screen in order to make it fit a widescreen format. So the show was initially filmed in full screen, at least the first season, and I think maybe the other seasons after, like a couple seasons after that, and then it was shot in widescreen. But early on, it wasn't. So you're sacrificing some of the actual episode, to at least the picture, to make it fit on your screen. And they're also changing things like the titles, and they add some CGI to upgrade or update certain effects. So it's not the same as the broadcast. So, but either way, I'm really glad I have this, especially for such a low price, because it's a solid season. It's a great first season. I've seen season 1. I just haven't seen the rest of the seasons yet, because I watched season 1 when it was on, I think, Netflix streaming a while back. And then also have the event series, because why not? I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be crap, but I mean, for the collection, and if I do ever review the series, I don't think there's going to be another series after season 11, which I heard is a disaster. And I'll definitely give my thoughts on that whenever I get around to reviewing the series, which isn't anytime soon, but maybe next year. I don't know. But it's one of those things that, you know, for the collection, and it was cheap, so it came with the package deal. So I thought, why not? So those are the X-Files Blu-rays, and the last two things I want to show you in this fairly long vlog, which I hope you're enjoying, is DVD sets of Twin Peaks. I've heard a lot about this show, but I've never seen it. I've never seen Twin Peaks. I know, crazy, right? I'm a big fan of Kyle MacLachlan, and I enjoy David Lynch, and I'm a big fan of a lot of the actors and actresses that are in this show. I looked at the opening credits on one of these episodes, and I was like, holy shit, like, man, like, almost everybody, all of these really underrated character actors that I really love are in this show. How have I not seen this show yet? So I've been wanting to get this show for a while now, and I went to a thrift store recently, and I got both seasons for $6 each. So that was a good deal. This is my favorite recent pickup for sure, is the Twin Peaks seasons. So I have Twin Peaks, the first season. Now, this is the first release from Republic Pictures. I was shocked by how good the picture quality was for this. Now, I've seen other reviews where they said the picture quality looks bad or whatever nowadays, but when I watched it on my Blu-ray player and on my flat screen, it looked great. I was really surprised because this is an earlier release. It sounded great too. This actually has a Dolby Digital track, which I believed a DTS track, which is not on any of the other releases. Now, immediately though, I was really fascinated by a lot of things about this particular DVD set. The menu was really unique. I've never seen anything like it. And then when I pressed play on episode 1, I realized that there was this thing that said previously in Twin Peaks, and I'm like, previously? Like, what? The pilot episode isn't on this set? And then I did some research later, and then, yeah, the pilot episode is not on this set. There were some legal things going on, and it was not able to be put on the set for some reason. Well, not for some reason. It was for a legal reason, because there's some deal that David Lynch cut with some European company, and so it became an issue. Now, the pilot has been released on DVD as a part of the definitive gold box edition, which has seasons 1 and 2, excuse me, 1 and 2, and a few other things, and some special features, like a feature-length documentary. And so I was like, wow, well, that's kind of lame. I mean, not kind of lame. It is really lame, like, because I've never seen the show before. So how am I can't actually watch this show without seeing the pilot episode. So what I did, because I wouldn't mind upgrading to Blu-ray someday, but that's down the road. And it also depends on whether or not I like the show or not. Who knows? I might not actually care for the show. So I might just like season 1 and just want season 1. And I didn't get the new series yet because I didn't really bother to get it yet, and I'm not going to until I see the first 2 seasons. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to watch that or to pick that up anytime soon if I haven't seen the first 2. If I see it for cheap somewhere, sure, but I highly doubt it's going to show up for cheap. So what I did is, with some ingenuity and forethought, I did this. I found the pilot episode, and it was in 720p. It was in good quality. I burned that to the disc, put it into the set, and I also ended up putting the feature-length documentary about the making of the series, which I actually found elsewhere, and put that on that DVD-R as well. So I have feature-length documentary on the making of the series and the pilot episode as a part of the first season. So now this is complete. So I got season 1, and then I also got the second season, which was not released through Republic Pictures. It was released through CBS and Paramount, because apparently they were the ones that ended up with the rights years after Republic Pictures and Artisan. So, yeah. But I do like how they kept a similar design style. I like that. I like that it kept a similar design style. So you have the first season and the first season special edition, and then you have the second season, and they have the similar color scheme and everything. Now, another thing that I noticed about this particular set is that through research, there is apparently a bunch of glitches that are on this set that have messed with a lot of people's players and caused the discs to freeze and to do whatever and so on and so forth. And I checked the discs and the episodes where these errors were supposed to occur, and there are no errors on this set. At least my Blu-ray player does not have any problems playing it whatsoever. So that was an added bonus as well, because I was worried, like, oh man, like, is it going to have errors like my Spawn DVD set, and then I can't watch certain episodes, and then, but no, that's not what happened at all. So yeah, so now I have Twin Peaks. Now I can officially check this cult classic out for myself someday. And when I do, I will definitely do some videos about it. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you later. See ya.